Hello, and welcome back. Today we will start with the domain 3 of CISSP, which is Security Architecture and Engineering. I'm recording this video after a while, nearly 15 days gap due to my vacation, and this is probably the best moment to start a new domain. Up until now, we have already finished recording the sessions for domain 1 and domain 2, which is already published on my YouTube channel. So if you want to have the continuation, I duly request you to have a look at the channel. So today we get into domain 3, security architecture and engineering. The exam weightage for this domain is around 13%. And as you know, what we have said during the introduction session, that the weightage doesn't equate to number of questions. It also it equates to basically the marks or the points that a particular question from a domain may carry. So it could be a pointer question, or it could be a 5-pointer question, depending upon the complexity of the question and what scenario that they are asking you to resolve in that question. So this is security architecture and engineering. What do we cover in this domain? The architecture and design principles. What are the security models that we have for the system? The design concepts. The basics of how computers are working. Many of you will already be very well versed with it. Then we follow up with what we call as a domain on cryptography, which is a subsection of this domain. And there we're gonna look at what are the common cryptographic security models that we have, how does the architecture work, how does the cryptographic works in terms of the computer basics on it, and finally we will look into the physical security, where the site and facility security design plays an important role. Now, to many, it may be a bit perplexing as to why something which looks more on a digital front, like architecture, design, and cryptography, has to then followed up with what you call as a physical security, which is dominantly physical in nature. Up until 2015, all three topics have the domains of their own, but then you can also imagine the number of domains were large, and that has kind of created a bit of complexity. So therefore, it was decided to merge the domains into a single one to reduce the number of domains, which would then help you to better assimilate and accumulate the content. So this is for that reason that the physical security you see in a domain which may probably seems more dominantly covering IT and the digital world. What is important, just like any other domain, that you should have a grip of what we are getting into. And this will help you to formulate a mental map, thereby abiding you with uh, simulating the knowledge, uh, applying the scenarios in a very step by piecemeal approach, and get you the clarity on the topics that we're gonna look in this domain. So the continuation from domain 1 and domain 2 will follow through, so that you do not lose or do not break the chain of how things are being built up. So in this domain, the important part is security architecture and engineering. So what is a security architecture? It's organization of components, be it a process, be it a control, be it a service on which it is applied, which are brought together to a system to handle a security risk. It could be a single risk, it could be a combination of risks, but it is to handle security risk. Engineering, on the other hand, unlike security architecture, which is dominantly design, engineering is more implementation of that design. So it is very important that you do not use this word interchangeably. However, in practice, many a times architecture is seen as engineering and security engineering is considered to be an aftermath of security architecture, but these two terms have their distinct meaning. How do we achieve the architecture and the implementation through security engineering? We go through a proper cyclic methodology, beginning with what is the objective, what is that you're trying to achieve, what is that the objective of your organization, what is that you want to protect, what is which is a must-have for you, which will help you in defining a security program and architectural strategy. As you know, security is a costly affair, so you do not want to overspend on trivial thing. Therefore, the objective, putting itself and helping you to define security program architecture strategy is very, very important. Once the strategy is defined, you want to look at what is the approach that you want to have to implement that strategy, because a strategy is good on paper, but if you do not have an approach how to go about a strategy, then it will just remain a good piece of paper, which probably will have no value to your organization. Therefore, this leads the approach leads to what you call as a security architectural plan, and based on that, we develop the architecture, because plan is a stepwise process which help you to bring component processes, services together to see what is applicable where. Now, after developing an architecture, you want to create the solution, the security solutions out of that architecture, which will help you in security engineering aspect of actual implementation. And as like many other strategy and planning processes that we have seen in domain 1 and domain 2, this is also cyclic in nature, because what is applicable today may not be so relevant after 6 months and not after 12 months or 2 years. So that's why this is a continuous cyclic process where you have to constantly review and revise your standing, and making sure that you stay relevant to the current security risk that has been posed to your organization. It may also happen that the objective of your organization may change over a period of time. That will also trigger a reassessment of this approach. So this is as far as the introduction and what we are getting into security architecture and engineering domain. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for listening, and I hope to see you in the next session. Thank you very much.